Hey Astro Kids, and welcome back. This is your daily horoscope for May 4th, 2020. So here we have three charts that I want to look at. There is quite a few things that are happening here. First of all, we have the moon, which is just entering here into Libra. So we are now in this dark moon phase that is leading up to a full moon, right? So we are in this space now where we are getting prepared and ready for this Scorpio full moon, where this is a major moment of facing your fears and facing the blocks and the challenges and the difficulties going on internally and diving into your feelings, diving into your fears, addressing these issues, and making these major changes. Of course, we started off this moon cycle with a new moon in Taurus, conjunct Uranus, where we were swept into these unexpected changes and surprises and shifts within our reality. And so, this whole moon phase here is about this change, this ultimate shift, this ultimate transformation. And of course, during this moon cycle, we had the planet that rules Scorpio enter into retrograde, starting us off with this retrograde season. And so, as Pluto is sitting here stationed retrograde, once again, this is supporting this full moon that we are leading up to here in Scorpio, where the skeletons are coming out of the closet. It is time for us to face the difficulties, the challenges, the fears, the blocks within ourselves and make these changes. And we will see Pluto retrograde here until October. So this is a major time of reviewing and going over these fears and these blocks within ourselves. And this full moon in Scorpio offering us this major moment of release as we're coming into this change. And so, what are we manifesting? Remember that Taurus and Scorpio are these energies that are very much tied and connected to manifestation, right? As Taurus is dealing with what we build, our security, our foundation. And Scorpio dealing with the things that we draw into ourselves, right? There is this intensity, this attraction, this pulling of energy in with Scorpio. And so, what is it that we are manifesting into our reality here with this full moon in Scorpio that is coming up here? Is this a point in our lives where we have chosen to make the shift towards leaving the past and the fears behind and moving forward into this new reality? Or are we still going to stay in this same place of control? Remember that Pluto at its lowest frequency is a planet of control, staying in the control of keeping things the way that they were. And so, is this a moment of control with this Pluto retrograde? Or is this going to be a moment of this higher vibration of Pluto, which is transformation? This moment of death and rebirth where we are letting go of the things that no longer serve us so that we can move forward. And of course, if we are missing this moment of this full moon in Scorpio, this is a major missed opportunity. But this lesson will continue to come up here with this Pluto retrograde that will remain here until October. And so Pluto will still be in its shadow phase as we are entering into the next year of 2021. And so there's a lot of change, a lot of inner work that needs to be done here with this Pluto retrograde. And of course, with Pluto in the conjunction with Jupiter, this is a massive transformation, right? We've never seen this energy here before with this Pluto retrograde and Jupiter in Capricorn with Saturn backed off into Aquarius. That this is a major moment of massive changes and transformations in our reality. And of course, Saturn sitting ahead in Aquarius, giving us a sneak peek of this new reality that we are entering into, right? This new world order, as Saturn is this planet of responsibilities and restrictions and limitations and the boundaries and the principles and the rules and the authority. And it is now in Aquarius, the sign of the people, of us individually as humanity coming together in this space of unity. And so this is a major test of whether we will take on this role, this responsibility to step into this authority where we are helping and supporting one another in this space of humanity. Right, so this is a sneak peek of what is to come in December when Saturn officially stays in Aquarius, right? We're going to see Saturn retrograde back into Capricorn here in July. And so this is a bit of a sneak peek here. We're getting a short preview of what this next new reality will look like as the authority and the responsibility is put into place in terms of us as a collective. And Mars sitting here in Aquarius, again, we talked a lot about this Mars in Aquarius. What is your plan? What are you focused on, as Aquarius is connected to the future? And so what are your future steps that you're going to take to create and generate this long-term success in your life? And Saturn, of course, with that square over to Uranus, it's a question of your self-worth, of your values. Are you going to step up and join into this call to humanity in a way that is serving and supporting your own values in your life, supporting your own individuality, as we are talking about Uranus in Taurus? This is your individuality. This is you being yourself and doing what is of your highest, greatest good. And of course, Uranus is out of place here in Taurus, as Taurus likes this security, this consistency of keeping things the same. Uranus is in here to shake up our reality and to show us a new way of farming this security that better serves us in our values, in our security, that is much better for us at a higher level. So we are changing in terms of our values and our foundation. And if you are in this lower vibration of Taurus, of hoarding and holding on to these old sets of values and worth and possessions and foundation that you have worked and built up, that is no longer serving you, Uranus is crumbling this underneath our feet. And we are going to see Uranus station retrograde this year as well in Taurus, where there's going to be a lot of internal work to do in terms of farming these new values and these new principles into our life that serve us at a higher level. Are you ready to do something different? Are you ready to build a new foundation that serves you better? And we are going to see that Uranus retrograde when Saturn and Jupiter meet up for the Great Conjunction, which is the doorway into this new Aquarian reality that we are stepping into. And so are you ready for the change that is coming? As this is going to be a Saturn and Jupiter conjunction in Aquarius at the end of the year that is ushering in this ultimate change of stepping into a brand new reality, stepping into brand new experiences, and leaving behind the past as Aquarius is pulling us into the future. Now, the big thing we see here happening on May 4th is Mercury joining up with the Sun, right? And we've seen this building. Mercury has gained a lot of speed. It is pushing forward, and now it has caught up to the Sun in Taurus, where this is a moment of clarity in terms of how we are communicating and expressing our needs, especially as this is in Taurus, that this is about the plan. This is about what are the steps that you are going to take. And so there is a lot of focusing on your steps in entering into this brand new reality. Remember that Mercury and the Sun conjoined with Uranus before joining up here halfway through Taurus, as this is where we are now entering into this new structure, this new foundation, this new reality that is coming to fruition with this full moon in Scorpio. And Lilith backing off now, going back into Aries, that what are these deeper feelings in terms of who you are and who you want to be? Remember that Chiron is sitting back in Aries, where this is an ultimate ego death here of these identities, of these ego attachments of self, of how we are identifying and presenting ourselves, that this mask and this false image is no longer going to work here with Chiron and Aries. This is breaking down this old image of self, where this is a major moment of healing yourself and stepping into your true self at this moment. And so a lot that is going on in terms of finding your worth. And we do have the North Node here at 02 in Cancer, getting ready to push forward into Gemini, right? And so as the North Node moves back into Gemini, we are leaving behind this old karmic story of what feels good, what feels comfortable, what feels safe. And now we're entering into a brand new story where we have to let go of the belief systems and the stories that are holding us back, so that we can see the truth and the reality. Remember that Gemini is dealing with facts and information. And we have Saturn, this new reality that is in Aquarius, that is what is logical, what can be tested, what can be experimented with. That are we going to keep making up these stories and beliefs with this South Node in Sagittarius that's coming? Or are we going to move into what is true fact and what is truly accurate in God's message for us? Right? So this is going to be a major time of moving into your environment and connecting with those around you. This is Gemini, where Gemini is dealing with communicating and thinking within your own environment, and not in this South Node Sagittarius that is coming, which is about travel and seeking outside of yourself. So the South Node in Sagittarius is going to have many of us repeating these cycles of trying to escape and run, to seek out something that is completely outside of ourselves in this grand story and belief system. But with this North Node in Gemini, we have to move towards what is logical, what is truth, what is fact, what is true connection within our environments. And of course, Venus is here to support this mission, as Venus is here in Gemini getting ready to retrograde. So we will see Venus sitting here in Gemini for a very long time as it goes through this Venus retrograde. And of course, Venus will meet up with the North Node in Gemini before retrograding back. And Venus is in this square over to Neptune, which we will see again when Venus comes out of this retrograde. So very odd circumstances coming up here with relationships. Very confusing, a lot of questioning, a lot of doubting that is coming up here with this Neptune in Pisces, which is at those last degrees of Pisces, which is impulsive, which is erratic, which is escapist behavior. That these intense degrees of Pisces, where we see this Pluto and Mars energy of these impulsive behaviors and dangerous behaviors of self-sabotage and escapism. Are we going to continue to make up these stories and fantasies and beliefs to escape what is true connection of this Venus in Gemini? Where Venus in Gemini is asking us to connect and to have fun and to explore and to learn and to grow in this space. Venus in Gemini opening us up to opportunities. Are we going to stay in this Neptune and Pisces of believing these false stories and fantasies and illusions of what we believe is going on that is not actually happening in this reality? Or are we going to be open to these new experiences with Venus and Gemini? So a lot going on here, and this moon is conjunct Juno in Libra. So once again, a lot going on with relationships here. This Juno, this asteroid of commitment, sitting here with the moon, where we want to connect, we want to relate, we want to find that true balance and that true connection of this moon in Libra. So in this space of this moon in Libra and this Venus in Gemini and this Mars in Aquarius, are we going to connect or are we going to disconnect? There's a major feeling here, especially coming into this full moon in Scorpio, of we need to bring things in our life into balance in our relationships with others, but more importantly in our relationships with ourselves, as this Juno is making the opposition over to Chiron and Aries. And so are we trying to connect to something outside of ourselves to avoid this Chiron and Aries, these wounds of self, of attachment to self, and this identity that we believe that we should be presenting and betraying to others? Now, the next thing we see happening here is Mercury making a semi-square over to the North Node. So Mercury will go ahead and move past this Sun and make a semi-square over to this North Node. And a semi-square is half of a square. And so there's something about this semi-square that is halfway connection, halfway challenge of, are we going to just go about this only halfway, or are we going to connect fully? This is Mercury, the ruler of Gemini, making a aspect over to Venus in Gemini, right? Are we going to communicate and express our ideas here and connect truly, or are we going to try to do this in a halfway manner of connecting and pulling back out from the connection? Following this, we will see the Sun make a semi-square over to Venus as well. And so now the Sun is in this very odd halfway connection of trying to express our true values and our true needs in this space. But are we going to jump in and back out again? There is this confusion, and especially with this moon in Libra, of, are we on the fence about our decision? Are we going to go back and forth trying to figure out whether we want to move forward or back out of this? There is a lot of this confusion going on, and especially with this Venus in Neptune, we are very much lost and confused in this space of trying to figure out what is going on with relationships. And so Are we going to be in this space of overthinking and going back and forth over the information and the details? Or are we going to connect to what feels good? Right. And this goes all the way back to the moon in Cancer in that conjunction with the North Node that we saw, where these past situations and these weird circumstances and this confusion and going back and forth and reassessing and going over things of, are we just going to keep going back and forth, or are we going to make a choice in this space? So I also pulled some cards for May 4th as well. First card we have here is the Knight of Cups. We are unsure of whether we're going to make this decision, whether we're going to take this opportunity. If this is a moment of being unsure and going back and forth on the decision, make sure that you are trusting your intuition. Next card here, the High Priestess, right? What does your gut say about this situation? There's something big about this moment that being in your head is getting in your way. And so can we bring this back to the heart space of true connection and true intuition and feeling of what really feels good in this moment? And so there is a major choice here of whether you are going to go with your feeling or whether you are just going to go back and forth about this in your head. Right? 5 of Swords, 7 of Swords, Page of Swords. There's a lot of trying to think and think and think and figure it out. But this is all in reverse of, well, wait, this is very challenging to keep trying to logically figure this out, going back and forth in our heads. Juggling, weighing the decision, trying to find that space of balance, of continuing to think and continuing to suffer, putting ourselves in this place of continuing to do the same exact patterns over and over and over again. And so this is a major time of letting go of all of this mental activity and this monkey mind of trying to just think and go back and forth over and over and over again over these choices and decisions. And to trust in that High Priestess, to trust in your intuition to navigate you in this moment. Six of Pentacles. Are we backing out from putting ourselves in a situation that can help us grow? There is something big here about nurturing our needs by putting ourselves into a situation that is new, that is fresh, that is different, that can help us grow and prosper. And this is a major moment of manifesting as we are getting closer to this Scorpio full moon that we will see on May 7th. And so what are we going to receive from this Scorpio full moon? Right? Remember that Scorpio deals with death and rebirth. But is this a moment of rebirth for you? Are you willing to step into the change and accept this new path? Or is this a moment of the lower vibration of Scorpio, of this destruction? And so are we sabotaging ourselves, or are we doing the work to change and grow and evolve? Remember that highest state of Scorpio is the phoenix. Are we going to rise from the ashes? Are we letting go of what no longer serves us to rise into our full potential? Or are we the scorpion of trying to control and put up our defenses and stay stuck in the same space? A lot of cards in reverse here, and this is all leading up to this world card, right? Are we open to succeeding and moving towards our goals in life? Third house. This is the original house of Gemini, right? This is what we are entering into with this North Node in Gemini, of dealing with communication, of dealing with learning and connecting within our environment. And so with messages here in reverse, are we not open to new experiences? Are we not open to the lesson? Remember that the North Node is exalted in Gemini, as the North Node is the new lessons and experiences that we are being pulled into the direction of in this karmic, destined, fated moment. In Gemini, this sign of being open to new ideas and new experiences, that are we open to learning and moving forward into this new space? A lot of rejecting and fearing this shift, a lot of wanting to escape here, right, as this Gemini energy is in opposition to Sagittarius, where we want to travel and explore outside of our environment. And so are we going to connect within our environment, or are we trying to escape to go outside of where we need to work on and focus on ourselves in our environment? Right? This South Node in Sagittarius that we are coming into here is very, very challenging for many of us, as this is this desire to escape and to leave and to search for something that is outside of yourself. But with this North Node in Gemini, the truth is within yourself. Taurus in reverse, right? We talked about this Sun-Mercury conjunction that is happening in Taurus, and this Mercury semi-square to the North Node, and Sun semi-square to the North Node of, are we going to step into this new space, or are we trying to hold on to our own reality, to our own foundation and security that once served us, that is no longer serving us? Remember that Uranus is in its fall position in Taurus, where it is here to bring change to the old structure, to the old values, to the old foundation that we once knew. This old foundation is falling apart beneath us to make room for this new foundation. And so are we going to hold on to these old values and these old belief systems, or are we going to find a new sense of worth and security that is beneficial to us, to the highest, greatest good. Mercury, once again, we are talking about the mind, and this is in retrograde, right? This is in reverse, where this is feeling a lot like a Mercury retrograde moment, right? Of trying to think and decide all of these outcomes that don't serve us in our lives. And so there is this need to try to overthink our situations. Remember that Neptune in Pisces, which is making this square over to Venus in Gemini, that are we trying to overthink our situation and trying to stay in this space that is no longer beneficial to us in our lives by creating these stories, right? And this is going to be a big theme of this South Node in Sagittarius, of creating these stories within ourselves that are not the truth, that are not the reality of where we are in our lives, right? This North Node in Gemini is showing us that the truth is where we feel the least comfortable, right? The facts, the details, the truth, the communication, the connection within our environments. We are trying to escape and find this higher meaning that is not the ultimate truth. And so once again, are we going to do this dance of trying to make these decisions based on our heads, where many of us are in a space of confusion? Or are we going to follow what our intuition is guiding us in the direction of? Lunar eclipse in reverse. Right, we talked a lot about this change that we are going through in this lunar cycle, where we started off with a new moon in Taurus in a conjunction to Uranus, finishing this out with a full moon in Scorpio, where this is about transformation. This is about undergoing change, and especially with Pluto, the ruler of Scorpio, in retrograde right now, that this is a major moment of going in deep and making these changes so that we can evolve and grow into our greatest versions. But are we going to fight against this change? Are we going to battle this change? Are we going to stay stuck? Again, that Taurus energy of staying stuck in the old reality, which, remember that Uranus is in Taurus. And so the old reality does not exist in this moment. This is Uranus changing the foundation, changing the security, changing the values in our lives. And again, Uranus is here in reverse, where this is a major change of trying to help us grow and evolve and innovate and elevate to our highest, greatest version, right? Uranus, genius. But are we going to be open to this innovation and this growth and this evolution? Or are we going to stay stuck in the same space as where we were? Last card here. All right, we talked about this world card, where this is a new world that we are stepping into. This is a new reality. And are we open to succeeding and stepping up to our goals and achieving greatness in this new space? big question here, as this is a Mars and Saturn in Aquarius. What is the plan? Right? Are we planning for future success? Are we planting the seeds for what we want to build and create? And a lot of opportunity to manifest here with this full moon in Scorpio that is coming up here on the 7th. And so that was your horoscope for May 4th, 2020. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, feel free to leave a like as well as a comment. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell. If you'd like to share some positivity, motivational advice, spiritual wisdom, feel free to join the group Astro Metaphysical Love and Light on Facebook. And I want to thank you all once again so much for joining. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.